sign. She knows stuff that's kind of stop, just like that. Next is hate. If you do have index, you're going to be using your middle finger touching your thumb. But if you don't, then you're just going to use like rock and roll, and you're going hate. Hate. The way to remember this is that almost all signs with the middle finger is like feelings or sense or something like that. So it's this intense feeling, and it's like flicking it open. You're like, oh, I hate that. I hate it. And you're just flicking it out. I hate that. Next is run. The reason it makes me laugh is because there's this Coda comedian, and he always makes fun of this sign because it doesn't look like running at all. You have two L hands, and they're interlocking. So you have, in real life, their pointer finger is kind of being wrapped around the thumb, and you're just going like this. Blah, 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 blah. You're opening and closing the fingers. You're bending them, and you're just running. So the reason is because this is how you saying fast, going back really fast. So if you're showing like you're running forward, then you're running. It's showing fast movement.
Digits is another word for finger. Yeah. Like,
You help her, help all of you, right? Help me. But they're just a sign for help. Help, helping, helper, help person. Good. Next is agree. So you're going to have both your fingers up like this, one on your head and one down here, and then you're going agree. Both of them are twisting till they're both facing down. So you have like this thought, and then both of them are coming together and they're on an even plane. They're agreeing. These two different planes of thinking are coming together and meeting. And then on the contrary of disagree, you have the same setting up motion of up, and then you're going away.
Whatever.
So you're starting here, and then you're going down, and they're going away. They don't agree. They're trying to come together, and they clash. I don't agree. I disagree. You could also just say not agree. That works. And I'm lagging. Okay. Next. Another one that a lot of you will know. Two fists, and you're showing it add to it. And I am lagging a lot. But
your
I'm
voice
worried
is
to
going
open my
crazy.
menu.
Yeah.
Okay,
I thought I was
okay,
the only one
okay.
hearing her
God.
voice going crazy.
Same.
Yeah, she's stuttering worse than I
It's
am.
not
Okay.
every time. It's like every
Just
like
you're done.
5th or 6th time you speak.
Okay, testing. Is that better? Test,
So far
test,
it's good.
test, test,
Slightly.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
test. Okay. Add, just like that. You're having one thing, and it's coming up onto the other. Question? You have a question, Paul? What's that? No. I've never seen add like that. Has a deaf person signed that to you?
I think that's
In
how they
Dummy's
show it on
World?
Mr. Dummy's World.
You might have seen it wrong. Dummy's World does show this. Dummy's World does show this. You might have just seen it wrong.
Which
I've
hand
never
of that
seen
is the
up here.
dominant one?
For me, it's most comfortable to have my right, which is my dominant hand, the one here, and my left hand is coming up. And my non-dominant hand is the one moving up towards that. You know what's weird though? I sign sometimes weird. Everyone else signs. I sign sometimes with my left hand, but apparently it's more commonly doing it the other way. It's just more comfortable if the left hand is coming for me to do sometimes like that, even though it's technically like weird. So it's if you're more comfortable doing it this way, then I don't have a problem with that. It's just more if you're going back and forth. That's what I tell people. So if you're like add and then add and then add, that's like, ooh, wait, what is that?
You're
So
lagging
it's just,
again.
if it's more
voice
comfortable
There
for
you
you
go.
to do
again.
this or this, it's,
Yeah, you're gone.
that's what you need. Okay, I don't know how to fix it. What do I do? Help.
You can't fix it.
How do
You
I
can't
fix
fix
it?
it.
You
It's
can't
VRchat.
fix it.
It's
I
the
don't-
it's the update.
yeah.
You
It's
can
just
fix
the
it.
update.
Yeah.
It's the
Okay, is
updates
it still
that are
lagging?
messing
Is it
everything
still
up.
lagging right now?
No.
No, you're No. good.
It's fine
You're
now.
good.
But sometimes you become like dubstep.
Okay. Well,
That's one way of
I
putting
love
it.
that analogy.
Yeah, it's like
It's more of a
Scripps
scratch
VR
CD for
lessons.
me.
I'll just stop talking as much. Okay, sign for this, like that.
Wait, what?
Boop, boop, boop.
Wait.
Do you need me to explain it? This is why I can't talk so much. Okay, so you have you have an open hand, and then you have like an H hand, but you could just use peace sign and going out, forward. This is also truth or honest. Truth, honest, and trust. Trouble. Two open hands. They're going in front of you like there's all this stuff going on. You can barely keep track. Trouble. Yeah. Hi, neighbor. Okay, gain, or gain. That's it. That's gain. Sorry. Gain. Things are coming up on top of that. And if you're losing weight, you're losing it, gaining it, losing it, gaining it. Does that make sense? Next is challenge. Two thumbs coming together. Challenge. In real life, your fingers, like, your fists, like, come together, but I can't do that. Next is replace. You have one thing, switching out for a new thing. Replace.
Does it matter?
Replace. I've
Like,
seen
which-
it like
Wait. Okay.
I've seen it like the other hand is replacing it because like this is the bad thing, and then you're replacing it with a good thing. but it's not wrong. I think it makes more sense if you're gonna do this. However, it's not wrong necessarily. What's up, Crystal? So she said, how is it different from hands? Hands is this, right? You're showing the back of your hand, because this is how you say hands. This is how you say hand, just singular. So you're showing hands, like this hand and this hand. But then replace is you're doing that. You're motioning something coming out, right? Okay. So hands, you're saying this is the back of this hand, this is the back of this hand. And then you're like, I have one thing, get rid of it and put a new thing. Oh, did Bo just crash? Whoa, what was that? Okay, that was weird. You went like... Okay. Next sign is proud. Who's eating chips in class?
No eating chips in class.
No
that's just
eating in
sharing.
my classroom.
You could at
Yeah.
least share. I mean, come on.
If you're gonna
Yeah.
eat in class, you gotta bring enough for everyone, okay?
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
don't
like
want to
one
hear
chip
any
per
of that.
person.
One
Don't give
chip
me a
per-
crumb.
Who's eating chips in class? Who is it? Oh, I get it. So you think that just because I can't hear well, you think you could get away with eating in my class? I can hear chips.
Yeah.
Ay.
Shame on you. Shame, shame, shame. The bell doesn't excuse you. I do.
Dismiss. It's dismiss, not
Okay.
excuse.
Yes. Okay. Proud. Thumbs up. And you're showing this feeling of proudness rising up from your stomach all the way to your heart. You're proud
I am not proud of myself.
for eating chips.
Yes.
You will be having detention.
Well,
Did
that's
somebody
what
just
we're
open a soda?
so
Dream.
There will be
Can of
detention after
soda.
class. I will be speaking to you after class. This is disrespectful, not in my classroom. I take my teaching very seriously. How dare you eat chips in my class? Are you going to get food?
I'm gonna go make a sandwich.
You guys, like, everyone just takes off their VR and they come back and it's like, like everybody's eating. No.
I got a push
Oh my
pop.
God. Do you have a question,
Can I drink
Dark?
some water?
You can drink water. Oh, the only liquids I allow in this classroom are water, and the reason why is because if you spill soda, then it gets sticky. If you spill water, then it's just water, and it's easy for the janitor to clean up. I care for our janitor here. He works very hard, and he has told me that cleaning up soda is a serious problem in this place.
Janitor
So
Jim is a
please
real
refrain
homie.
from-
He sells me
Yeah,
my
he's a
weed.
homie.
It's a beer. It's a beer. It's not
Shut
soda.
up.
Drink beer in my class. Oh my god. Oh my god. You guys are so chaotic. You guys are so chaotic.
Kenny,
I mean, if you care about
This
the
is why we can't
Can
have
we
nice
beer,
learn-
things.
you would only let us
can we
drink
learn
grain
food
alcohol. Because
science later?
Okay, is this you guys subtly asking me how to learn food and drink science? Is this what you want? Is this what will get you to shut up? Okay, fine.
How do I sign weed?
Weed.
Hey,
I'm not
Jenny,
teaching
how
you
do
how to
you
sign weed. This is a PG
How
class.
do you sign alcoholism?
PG class while someone's drinking. beer.
Alcoholism?
get
What is
someone
with
to
you
cut
guys? I am
This is
not
going to
teaching
get really
alcohol
interesting.
and weed. No, no. You guys are
Jenny, do you
teaching
want some of my Pringles?
I do not want any of your Pringles.
I think you want some of my
Yes,
Pringles.
okay,
Yeah.
everyone, please relax. Let's teach food and drink science. How about that? Okay, so soda, you have. You're gonna hear background noise. I live in a very noisy house. Okay, you have. I've seen it both like this, and just like this, and you're going in, and then you're slamming it down. So it's kind of like you're opening the soda, and then you're going poof because it's like fizzing out. So you go soda. I've also seen it with like the middle finger down, the one that only index can do, where you're going down, like middle finger, and then slamming it down again. So it's basically just the motion of you put the thin, and then you're pushing. Yeah. Okay. um, next is food. You have the Mamma Mia hand, and you're just going down your mouth. Food, food, feet, food. Okay, let's do chips, because you guys are eating chips like crazy. You have pointed finger and a C hand. So in real life, the thumb would be a bit down. C hand, are you going chips? You're hitting that that thing. I imagine it like chips are very kind of fragile and I guess what's the word? Brittle? Is that the word for chips? I don't know. It's like you're showing like it could break, I guess. So chips. Let's think of some other foods. Hamburger. You're showing like you're making a patty, you know, when you have the meat and you're kind of shaping the patty. So that's hamburger. You're going this way and then this way. Hamburger, like that.
How is that different from story?
Yeah.
Story is your
Not touching.
opening and closing like this. Hamburger is it's like your fists. This is fists, and you're going down. But story is that Mamma Mia hand that I was talking about, like that. And it's more like a smooth motion. While hamburger is like you're patting the patties down. Does that make sense? Do you have a question, Coleslaw? If you're gonna ask how to sign coleslaw, I'm gonna kick you out of this class. Okay. Meat. How do you sign for meat? And veggies. Oh goodness.
Veggies
So my
suck.
sign, veggies are good for you. My sign for veggies, I've been told, is kind of weird. I learned it when I was really little. So I actually want to look up the sign, the more commonly used for sign. I sign veggie the same as salad, and then I've had people tell me like that's weird. So hold on. Vegetable and so I just want to look it up so that I'm not giving you the. Is that the same as vegetarian?
What is
What?
it with you and salad?
Okay, I guess it's the same for vegetarian, but that's just weird. Oh, they do it slightly different. Okay, okay. So, also the same for meat. This is one, if you have index or an F hand, you're going to be, so it's an F hand right here. And then you have an open hand and you're going on top of right here. I imagine this like you're showing the tendons of meat and you're kind of like pulling it or showing how it moves. So if you don't have an F hand, just do what I'm doing. You just close your hand. But real life, or if you do have an F hand, you're going to be using an F. And then veggie, I see. So this is saying vegetarian. You're going down.
When is that
and then
dubstep
flipping.
song coming out on
So
Spotify?
veggie is like okay. Is it done now? Is it done? Is it still going?
It's done. now.
Testing.
It's done.
You're fine.
I'm gonna talk slow.
Sorry.
Vegetarian is signed like this. You're going down and the other way. And it is not just like that. That means something completely different.
What's
Which
it
I will
mean?
not say.
Oh.
I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
you have
China.
so veggie or vegetable. It's almost the same except you're flipping it around. It's that circular motion.
I love this song.
It's doing it again.
Starting here and then going around.
And
So that's. I don't know what to do. You know what? I don't know what to do. I don't know how I can change this. In the
It's okay. We're all vibing to it. It's really good.
Does it hurt your ears? If it hurts your ears, then I'm gonna like stop talking.
No,
Oh,
it's
Jen,
just
you
your sweet voice repeating it like 5 times and then it stops.
Oh my god. Robotic.
Whoa, dude, that was
Oh my god,
crazy.
Plus.
Did you do that
Oh,
on
sweet
purpose?
Jesus. Nope,
Did you do that on purpose?
Oh my
That was
god.
insane.
Oh my gosh, I have a headache now.
I just heard God.
I just heard Jesus.
God just came down and told me that my voice is nice.
I didn't know God sounded like R2D2. That's awesome.
I didn't know God sounded like R2D2. Oh my gosh. Okay, wow, that was an experience. I apologize for that on her behalf. Yeah, go ahead, come forward, ask your question in the red. Is your name just Obama?
Obama.
Oh, okay, go ahead and ask a question, Obama.
Obama angry.
Wait, Cookie. You have an open hand. She said, how do you sign cookie? Open hand, you have a C hand, and you're showing the cookie. Go in here, here. Cookie, cookie. Imagine you have that round cookie right here on your hand. You're showing a cookie with a C hand. Cookie. And then cake is kind of similar. You're showing like a cupcake going up. Cake. Cake.
I have a question.
What's your question?
How do I sign what?
What? What? You're
What?
just going like this. What? Another one is you're going like this. Pointing finger on your other open hand. So that's what? What? 2 signs.
Wait, is it
Thank you.
three?
Stuck in the entry area.
Nope, there's 2. What?
Oh.
Or what? Just like that. Is my voice doing the thing again? Ooh, oh.
No, you're good. You're good.
My dad just tried to shove a cookie in my mouth, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Cookies
You
are
say
You
delicious.
just wanted
thank
me
you.
to smell
That's how
it?
you
You just wanted me to
respond
smell the cookie. Thank you, Dad. Okay. Okay, anyways. I have weird parents. I'm sorry.
You're doing a great
Let me
job
think.
teaching. Here's a cookie.
You get a good boy cookie. Have a cookie. Okay, let's see. Does anyone want to know any other food signs? Are there any just topics or signs that you want to know? We don't have to do food. Somebody asked me to go over classifiers. I could go ahead and go over classifiers now. Okay.
How do you say pasta?
What's the
Pasta?
sign for chicken
that
tikka
what you said?
masala?
Yeah.
Chicken
I'll teach you how to say chicken. I don't know what the heck tikka masala is. Oh my god, you guys. Okay, I'll teach you how to
I'd have
say.
to
Do you
think
say
about that.
spaghetti or pasta? Is that what you said?
Pasta in general.
Spaghetti.
It's just
Oh, pasta. Okay, so it's the same name as spaghetti. You have 2 eye hands, so I don't have that. But it's just your pinky out like that. Yeah, like Priestess is doing, and you're going around. You're just like showing all the pasta, all the spaghetti. If you don't have an I hand, you're gonna be using rock and roll or like a Y. Some people have Y hands. You're just gonna show that pinky out
Spaghetti.
like that. You're showing spaghetti. Let's see. Any other questions? Any signs you want
How to
to know?
say
Like doesn't have to be
nuggets?
Sushi.
and then small. I say small chicken eat. It's probably wrong. I just finger spell nuggets, but then I say chicken's too small. What's up, Paul? Do you have a question?
I didn't know I could hear pixels.
BQQ. Oh, barbecue. You fingers. You just did it. Barbecue. Barbecue. That's what you do. Yeah. Barbecue. I thought you were finger spelling like an actual word. I'm like, there's a word with a B and then a Q. I was like, I was about to have my eyes opened. Okay. Yeah. If you have a question, you can just kind of like come to the front. It's kind of hard for me to see hands up all the time. Again, this could be anything or topic you want me to go over. Okay, I'm just
kind of
gonna
a
go over
big boy. I think you
classifiers.
can.
Huh?
Oh, I didn't have a
What?
question. I'm sorry. I was
Okay,
stretching.
you're good. So classifier. What's the sign for classifier? You're saying CL. You're just showing it. CL. Classifier. And what is a classifier? What does that mean? So a classifier is usually used. Is my voice doing the thing?
No.
Okay.
No.
I think
Because everyone started looking at me.
Wait,
What?
I think there's someone that has a question. I think.
Okay.
Oh, Mika. I think.
Mika, do you have a question? What's up, home dog? How do you sign MONEY? Money. You have one hand and the other hand. Imagine you have like a stack of money and you're going pow pow. You're like, look at all this money. I have my money right here in my hand. Money.
Where's the money
Another way to remember
Lebowski?
this is how you. Huh? I have no idea what you said. Buy. You have money and then you're giving it to somebody. That's how you say buy. So here's money, giving it to somebody. Yeah, money. Woohoo! Thank you. All right. Thank you for the question. So back to classifiers. CL classifier. What is that? So let's say you're telling a story. And a lot of things that students will do is that they're going to be translating every single word. So if I want to tell a story about how I woke up this morning, I'm going to show you two examples of how
Here,
you sign it.
Avatar is a
One is
robot.
the bad way and one is the correct way. So I'm going to do the bad way first. Hello. I woke up this morning. Wow, my parents are so loud. Okay, I woke up this morning. My mom came into my room. She said, "Do you have plans for today?" I said to her, "No, I do not." See how I'm going through every single word? I explained my mom, she came into my room. But that's not how you want to do it. That's extremely long, extremely tedious, and honestly, it's confusing. If you're gonna sign a story to me like that, I'm gonna get lost so fast. So you're not gonna want to sign. So instead, I'm gonna do the same exact story, except I'm gonna use classifiers. So I woke up, I was in my room, waking up. Here's me waking up, and my mom came in to my room. So this is not a sign. This you're not gonna find this in any dictionary. What this means is approaching, entering, appearing. So my mom came into my room. I didn't say my room. I didn't say come into. I just said my mom, she appeared in my room. And so now I'm saying my mom. And now that I said my mom, I am my mom. So I'm gonna say like, hello, have plans. So when I introduce this character of my mom, so I'm saying my mom, and then I'm going to shift my body, and now I'm acting as my mom, and I'm going to be saying everything with I pronouns and you pronouns. But then when I shift back, this is now saying now I'm talking. This is me. This is Jenny. And I'm gonna say, no, I don't have plans for today. And then I'm shifting again. And my mom is like, oh, okay, cool. So that is just a general statement of storytelling that you're going to be shifting back and forth, showing who's talking, who's entering the room. But classifiers, what that means is that you're acting. You're not using word for word signs. You're going to be showing the motions and gestures. So, like if I fell over, I could say I fell, and then I'm going to be showing like that, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, oh, what's happening? What's happening? And I'm going to be showing like, oh, I'm freaking out. I'm not signing things like I'm confused, I'm scared. I'm showing you, and I'm explaining to you with my body. And other things like classifiers. Remember how I told you the sign for walk is like this? But a classifier for walk would be this. You're showing this person walking. They walked over there. That's a classifier. You're showing a classifier for this person walking around, or if two people are walking together, then you're walking, or a person approaches another and they said, oh, you want to fight, and then you're going to be showing, fighting and, whatever. So you're going to be acting. You're going to be acting. And you're either becoming the person or you're showing it, the classifier for animal, I can't really do it. You have a three hand and you're going like this. This is like the legs of the animal. You're walking around. You have animals walking, or you have maybe if somebody's like really creepy and they're kind of like stalking a person, then you're going to be bending your finger to show that they're creeped over and they're kind of going around and they're moving really slow. You're going to be acting. You're going to be showing that. So that's the basis of classifiers, that not everything is going to have a sign as needed. You're like Fajan, he's a great person to talk to about classifiers because he originally did not learn ASL. So he's going to be using a bunch of classifiers when he's signing because he doesn't know every single word. But he knows how to still communicate. Like he's like, oh, my leg's broke, and he goes like this, and he's just like, see, this leg, it was like out here. I couldn't properly go, and that's not a sign. You're not going to find this in any dictionary. But he's showing you that my leg like went out, right? So it's basically just being able to more in depth explain concepts or stories, and you're showing it, you're acting with it, and you're moving your body with it. So does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions about classifiers, or some
I
examples
do.
of them? Or yeah, go ahead, please ask.
So is that similar to indexing? And what's the best way to set up? When you said something like, my mother, did you like turn as you said, my mother said, and then you shifted? Like, how does that work?
Right,
What's
good
the
idea.
exact setup for
That's a really good question. So Well, let's have another story so we can explain this. Let's do this story with 3 people because a lot of the times I teach how to do it with 2 people, and then they're like, "Well, I have a story with like 5 people." So let's say there's 3 people. So I'm gonna say, "Oh, I want to tell you a story," right? And then the person's like, "Okay, cool." And I'm like, "So here's me." And you're like, I walked into a room. So you're saying me. This is me. I'm pointing to myself. I'm using I, right? So you're walking into a room, and I see a deaf man. And then you're going to do this or this. So this sign, I have struggled so much trying to figure out how to translate it into English. But it's basically saying this person here. So remember, this is a classifier for a person. It's like, here's a little person. And you're showing that this person right here, either with a thumbs up, like showing all of them, or you're pointing this person here, him, her, whoever it is. Saying he is deaf. He's a boy. He's old. He's got this beard and wrinkles. So you're going to be explaining everything about this guy. And notice how where I'm showing it, it's not moving. I'm doing all these signs, but it's right here. This is where I'm showing this man. So then I'm saying, so here's the deaf man. And for the rest of the story, this entire area next to me is be that deaf man. So I'm saying like, so I walked in, I walked in and I saw a deaf man. I said deaf, him. So who did you see? I saw this deaf man. You also see more in ASL, they say, I saw who? A deaf man, right? So you can even say, who did I see? I saw him. I saw this guy, right? He was a stranger. I don't know him. So now you've established right here, this entire area is this one guy. And then you're like, so I wanted to talk with him. So notice how I'm shifting my body towards this area because this is like me thinking I'm wanting to address this guy. So I'm like, I wanted to talk to him, but then a girl. So I'm pointing girl. So here's this girl over here. She came up to me and she said, oh, who are you? Why do you want to talk to this guy? And I'm like, whoa, I don't know. Like, so I'm shifting my body, right? So I've established that there's this girl. She's angry. She's young and she's over here. And then I could say, and the deaf guy, I'm going to establish that again. I want to make sure that I'm extremely clear who is talking, who is moving, who is coming up to me. I'm saying the deaf guy over here, he came up to me. And now there's the 3 of us. So the sign for 3 of us, you're going to have 3 hands and you're going like this. Or if you have 2 of us, you're going around. 5 of us, you're going around. You're going to show this group of people. So now he came up to me, there's 3 of us. So now I've established I'm here, girls here, guys here, right? And now I'm just going to continue that story. Now with the knowledge that they're all right next to me, I'm going to be like, and then he said, I'm stupid. And then she said, yeah, he's right. And then I said, what the hell's going on? Right? So you're just, it's a he said, she said thing, except you're just saying this whole entire area is that deaf guy. And this whole entire area is that young girl. And if another character comes in, you're gonna say, and then this guy comes over here and he said, you can have like, just imagine like lines coming out. If you were gonna have a story of like 5 people, just imagine like these columns of like who's talking. Another thing you're going to see is people are going to be finger spelling names a lot. So here, Super Ray, he came up to me, and you're going to be finger spelling. Who is that again? It's Ray, and so you're just going to be explaining who is this, either by finger spelling their name, explaining who they are, how they're feeling, what they look like, and you're just constantly going to be, it's never changing, right? For the rest of that story, that this area is going to be that guy. For the rest of the story, that area is going to be that girl. Does that make sense? So that the original question you're saying, are you shifting and then saying it's my mom? I would say you're saying it's my mom and then you're shifting, and now you're my mom. Because if you were to shift, then say my mom, then it makes it look like who's saying my mom? Then you're basically saying like that would make it look like I'm saying my mom, if that makes sense. That's a great question. Thank you. I love storytelling in ASL. I could go on and on and on and on. I love storytelling. It's really, really expressive. Yeah. Do you have a question? Or are you just like, yeah, okay. My ear is hurting a lot and I don't know why. Okay. Let's see. Does anyone else have any questions? It could be none about classifiers. It could be about anything. You want to learn something?
Yeah, when
Well, yeah, what's up?
So when you showed the three of us, you signed like this, but this is also the sign for 6, isn't it?
No. I said like this. It's a sign for 3. You're going like this. Yeah, like that.
Oh, this is the signs for 3.
3
Okay.
thumb out. She's doing it right there.
Oh.
Yeah, thumb out. So that's
Oh,
3.
okay. Okay, cool.
there.
Thanks.
His pinky down. But
Yeah. Wait, Paul, you have index? When did that happen? What?
Wait,
What?
what?
Paul is
When
index?
did you get?
When did you get index? Yeah. Okay.
Me?
Go ahead and flex.
not you.
Go ahead and flex. Wow. Okay. Sure. I get it. It's not my fault I'm broke. Okay. Anyways. Any other questions? Like I said, it could be about anything. If you don't want to talk about classifiers, it's fine. What's up? Cool. Oh, okay. So is challenge the same as game? Nope. So challenge, you're going like this, and you're going together, like that. Game is you're just going like this. Game. Again, this is in real life. They would be actually touching, just like this. But challenge, you're showing it like challenge, like that. The game is you're just going together. Game. Does that make sense? Cool. What's up, Super?
Quick question. How do we learn
Yeah.
all the curse words? Or curse signs, I should say?
I am not teaching curse words in my class. I refuse. If you come up to me and I'm in a mood, I will teach you privately, but I will not teach you in this class. I refuse.
This is PG-13
Where we can
class.
learn on
Yeah,
our
this is a
own.
PG class. Yeah, you can learn them on your own. Like I said, if I'm in a mood to teach curse words, you could come to me privately. I refuse to teach them in this class. Or maybe one of our other teachers will. I don't know. Who can teach? I don't know. I'm not gonna say anyone because I don't want to throw them under a bus. But that's just my personal. I feel like that's kind of like when people, oh, I know sign language, I can sign. Your mom's a whore. Like, I don't like that because when I start to teach that, then that starts encouraging people to go up to a deaf person and sign stuff like that. So I'm like, I'm just gonna stay out of it, but I can't control you. If you want to go ahead and learn it, you can go ahead. Just use signs responsibly, please. Yeah, I mean that's just not what I'm gonna teach in this
Can
class.
that be a shirt, please? Please sign responsibly.
really bad.
Please sign responsibly. Yeah, sure. You guys want
Oh, that's a
helping
good one.
hands merch? It just says,
Oh my
please sign
God.
responsibly. I like that. Yeah, that's good.
I actually have another
All
one.
right, let's see. Yeah, please do.
How do you
Yeah, I really
sign
can't function
big
here.
baby?
Big
Like,
baby.
big baby.
Like I would sign cry baby. I wouldn't sign big baby. I would say like cry and then baby. Baby is just like you have a baby and you're rocking it back and forth. Cries, you're showing the tears like, oh, you cry baby, okay. Another one, the sign for pity is you have both your middle fingers down, you're going like this. Pity. So this can be an actual like genuine like I'm sorry for you. I feel for you. I'm sorry you're going through that. But it can also be used like, oh,
and then
you
as
poor
soon as I
thing.
open the link,
Oh,
it
pity.
doesn't work anymore.
Baby. Like it could totally be used like,
And now my
oh,
controls are
you
going
poor
crazy.
thing, you don't have index. Oh, like
I'm gonna be right
I use that a lot.
back. Invite
Nate
me if you can.
Papa T, he literally translates it as poor you. That's how he interprets it, as poor you. But it can be used like, oh no, like that poor kid. But most of the time it's like, oh, pity. That's a pity. So yeah, you'll see me use that a lot. I actually really like that sign. But yeah, let's see. Any other questions? Are we just
I have a
trying
cultural
to?
question.
Yeah, please.
So this one, I'm sorry to jump in front.
Yeah, please
But
do
this
after.
one is like, God, it's been like 10 years since I was in a class on this. But how is the culture around like? There used to be a really big problem where local governments or schools or whatever were trying to force kids to get or parents to get their kids cochlear implants and stuff like that.
Oh, jeez.
How is that now? Is that I hope it's not a thing anymore, or like how is all of all of that going?
I'd
I'm
say
gonna
it
be
definitely
awareness on the subject.
depends on who you're talking to, where you live, and yeah, definitely where you live. Kind of like how different states handle LGBT stuff differently. So I'd say I live in California. California is very, very, very progressive. We are probably one of the most progressive states, not to brag. Um, and we're kind of just like, we're very accepting most of the time. I'm not going to tell you that I haven't run into some trashy people, but if I were to say something in California, in, I don't know, like Alabama, I would probably get a different look. So, same
Texas.
thing. Maybe people in Texas are a little bit less accepting of non cochlear implants children, while in Washington, it's more accepted. So, and it's also the family. There are some deaf families, they literally find it offensive to have a cochlear implant. Like, there are some deaf families that they're like, no, like, I refuse to put that on my kid. I refuse to put that on myself. That's bad. Like, no. But one of my friends, so Alex has cochlear implant. I'm talking about people in this community. Alex has cochlear implant. Danny has cochlear implant. I'm pretty sure he was actually here. I know Sheezy has hearing aids. Crow 7 has hearing aids. So it's very much just person to person. And if you personally want that, then like it's fine. But there are also some extremists in the deaf community who will discredit you and say like, oh, like you're not like deaf enough. I really don't agree with that. I think that's not a good way of thinking, but there's even some deaf people who don't like the term hard of hearing. Like they're like, no, you're just hearing. Like, don't even say that. Like, you're just hearing. It's a protective thing. It's a protective thing. So it's like, I always know that when deaf people do that, it's coming from a place of hurt. So that means that they've experienced so much discrimination and so much pain in their past that they're so protective of their label of deaf and they're so protective of their culture that they're so hurt when somebody even tries to come in. And I respect that. I understand that. Like, that's their decision. You know, that's their emotions, that's their feelings, that's their past. I've personally experienced that. Luckily, it wasn't to an extreme. One of my friends, Atara, had a lot of extremists saying things like, oh, like hard of hearing, like I don't even, like, don't say that, don't call yourself that, even though like he's probably the most hard of hearing person I've ever met. He's fluent in sign. Like his doctor literally said he has so much hearing loss that he could be considered deaf, but he identifies as hard of hearing because of his hearing aids. And I'm like, people would still discredit him and saying like, you have no idea what it's like to be profoundly deaf and grow up profoundly deaf. And it's like, again, like that's your decision. And it's a cultural thing, and not all deaf people think the same, just like not all people think the same. So I definitely say in our community specifically, we are very understanding and we don't really have opinions on cochlear implants, and it's more just a general consensus of the United States. I feel like doctors aren't forcing it, but they definitely like to say, oh, do you want to get a cochlear implant? Oh, like, oh, my nice. And, but they're more understanding if a parent's either hearing or deaf were to say, no, you know, we don't want that. You know, like things like I've talked to my parents about, they said, like, if I was born deaf, they would give me a cochlear implant because, like, they have no idea the rich, like, culture of sign language and deaf culture, and it's most of the time it's just misinformation and miseducation, thinking, oh, my daughter will not have a rich and easy life if I don't give her this cochlear implant. And honestly, sometimes that is true. Deaf people do go through a lot of things that hearing people don't, but at the same time they have access to a culture that hearing people don't. So I definitely don't like to say, you know, oh, well, it's completely decided that all of the deaf community feels this way about cochlear implants, because you know it doesn't. But if we're talking about our community specifically, we are very accepting and understanding, and we don't really have opinions on cochlear implants.
Okay, thanks. And
Yeah.
I'll wait
for the
on
question.
another question. Thanks.
Yeah. I'm gonna take you first, and then I'll take Ray. Yeah, you first. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Can you show the signs for Army, Veteran, and Soldier, please?
I don't know the sign for veteran. I will look that up. I do know signs for Army is, I imagine this like you're kind of holding kind of like equipment to your chest. So you have A hands and you're going on your chest like this. I've also seen the example of like you're holding a gun and you're holding it to your chest. And then soldier would be army person. So army person, and then just army is just like that. I will look up veteran if you want me to right now, or I can contact you after class for that.
Yeah, after class is better. After class
Yeah,
is fine.
okay. I've never looked
Thank
that
you.
up. There probably is a sign then.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Super, did you have a question?
Yeah, so I keep on hearing what a cochlear implant is. Exactly, like, what is it?
Okay, good idea. Good. That's a great question. I'll explain the difference between a cochlear implant and a hearing aid. So a hearing aid, most people know what that is, right? It's just there's a small device, goes usually behind the ear, can be in the ear, and it has basically a microphone that amplifies or changes sounds around you that allows you to hear. So a cochlear implant is for deafness, and it's when there's a part of your like right behind your ear, and it's a part of the brain that processes sound, and it's called the cochlea. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but it's a part.
Cochlea.
It is okay. It's like right here in the head. And sometimes deafness is caused by a problem. So what the doctors do is they have surgery. They open up your head and they put basically a magnet by the cochlea, and it allows like the processing to be like, I don't know how to word this, but basically they have a magnet in your head, and then after recovery they have a device that sticks to the magnet and then feeds into like the basically what it looks like a hearing aid on the back of your ear, and that basically gives you a type of processing noise and processing sound. It's basically like a synthetic outside device of what your brain should be doing. That didn't happen. And it's important to know that when somebody gets a cochlear implant, it doesn't mean that they can hear like 100%, like, wow, oh, now I'm hearing. Like, and they're still very much deaf. A lot of times when they get cochlear implants, they were changed to identify to hard of hearing or sometimes just be deaf. There's also a range of effectiveness. So, like Alex, she has a cochlear implant, but she can only understand speech if it's like slow and like you need to really like pronounce your words. But like my friend Vanessa and my wife, she can understand the speech probably better than I can. With her cochlear, and she's had a cochlear for almost all her life, so it varies from person to person. But the main difference is that it involves surgery, and it's literally like a magnet in your head that allows you to process speech. So yeah, I'm not an expert on it, but that's pretty much the basis of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got it.
Cool.
Appreciate it. Oh,
All
God.
right.
Lags
Am I dub stepping again? Or just lag?
No.
Okay.
Major lag
All
spike.
right.
I got down to 2
Do you have a
frames.
question? What's up? What's the sign for? Try? No, Trav. Trana?
Trauma.
Trauma. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. I've always finger spelled that. Or in the context of I've said I'm trying to think because I've always finger spelled it, but there might be an actual sign. However, it's like things like that where it's like so specific. You would probably just finger spell it. Hold on, there is a sign. Yeah, all of the dictionaries are just saying you finger spell it. Or they're saying injury. So I would finger spell it. However, if it's in the context of like PTSD, you could finger spell PTSD because bad happened, or like thing happened, war happened. You just explaining what happened, and if you want to say like I have trauma, you would be finger spelling that, and explaining what happened if the person is close to. But yeah, there's no actual sign for it. Similar like PTSD, you just finger spell PTSD because it's just letters. Yeah. So if she wanted to, or he or she, I don't know their pronouns, if they wanted to communicate that, then they would just finger spell he. Okay. So if he wanted to communicate that, then just finger spell that, or find some classifiers that best is comfortable for them. Yeah. It's things like if you're gonna say stuff over and over again, like I've probably said in one of my hospital stories over and over again. I find like classifiers and like signs that both like help me communicate it clearly, and I've kind of just gotten in a rhythm of I've said it so many times I know how to say it. So I'm sure that if they're really into sign, then they'll be able to figure out how to best communicate that through saying it over and over. I know it kind of sounds weird, but it's just how it is. Yeah, no problem. Let's see. Any other questions? Do you have anything? I can definitely try. Yes, I can. Sign for force. You have this person here, C hand, and you're going. You're forcing it. You're having this thing that's pushing them. Yeah. Just like that. I don't know what to C hand. Don't ask me. I didn't make the language. Alright. Any other questions? Hi, Paul. Use. So I saying use? Yeah. Right, I forgot to sign use. Use or use, either way. Do you have something to say, Super? So you're going every one. Down every, and then just one. Everyone. Everyone. Just the word every and the word one. See, any other questions? If not, that's okay. I'll be available after class too. I know some people wanted to talk to me, so if nobody has any last minute questions, we can go ahead and close the class. Picture. Yay! Okay, picture. If you have any other questions, go ahead and talk to me after class, and I'll be there. Let's go, take a picture. Woo, picture. We have this pile of people here.
It's alright.
Yeah, I see that.
Oh my goodness, I need to turn my settings.
Yo, I'm about to do my gamer stance. Here we go.
I can't. You're frozen, dear. You're frozen in place.
So many people here. Holy shit.
Oh, everyone's loading in now. Hold up.
I get to be around a bunch of keys.
So many people loading in.
I don't have my avatar.
I don't know if I'm tall or too
Sam, do you mind if I borrow your avatar?
My legs are moving in a very strange way. Is that camera up? Hello?
iPad.
Hi. Where's the camera? Don't know where.
Yay! Alright, thank you. Go ahead and hang out. Like I said, I'll be vibing if you have some extra questions. And thank you for coming.
For the class. Somebody help me out.
Okay, hold on. Let me go to the stage area.
I gotta start my other avatar. I've been trying to learn. Because Mingu, like, she knows flying language. I can barely understand her.
Hold on. Is this like actual American Sign Language? Can you use this in the streets in America?
It's like the VR. Like, I guess, like in general, yeah, you can use it in American language. No.
Is it VR?
Do. Oh shit! Hello.
It's pretty minimal when it comes to fingers, right?
Do not. Do not. it's based on ASL, but it's not exactly the same because like you can't do a lot of things that you can in real life. For example, a very big one, signing the letter R. You can't do the letter R. And your finger, you can't do that, so you gotta do like that. You do that in real life.
He has the index.
Flip your hand around. I think I wasn't able to do that. I guess I could try and do it now. I was just, trying to get everything quickly. Alright, just toss it over. Alright, man.
Does anyone know what anime is and